The situation that Ovidio Guzman Lopez faces is one of the most critical dilemmas in which a person can find themselves. This dilemma boils down to a choice between two extremes: face severe and prolonged punishment, or betray your own blood and brothers. The complexity of this decision is not only legal, but also raises profound ethical and moral questions that deserve detailed and in-depth exploration. Ovidio, a 33-year-old man, is the son of notorious drug trafficker El Chapo Guzman, who was convicted decades ago for his connection to the drug trafficking business, among many other related crimes. Ovidio's continuation of his father's business has led him to face a series of felony charges that, taken together, could lead to multiple life sentences in the United States. The gravity of the charges is undeniable, and anyone in his situation would feel trapped in a legal maze with no apparent way out. The first option that Ovidio has before him involves collaborating with the authorities, particularly with the DEA, providing relevant information about his former associates, including his brothers, in exchange for reduced sentences and special treatment by the American justice system. This decision, however, comes with a high moral price: betraying his own family. Loyalty to blood ties directly confronts the need to take measures for your own survival. The second option, which is to face his crimes without any agreement, would condemn him to spend the rest of his life behind bars in extremely difficult conditions. The prospect of losing freedom, being isolated from society, and facing life in prison is daunting. The contrast between his former life of comfort and the 2-by-2-meter cell in which he could spend his days is truly striking. In this context of imprisonment, Ovid would be subjected to extremely restrictive conditions. Their communication with the outside world would be limited to a black and white television screen that broadcasts only religious or educational programs. Visits would be few, and his contact with family would be drastically reduced. Monotony, loneliness, and lack of privacy would become his constant companions. His father, the famous Chapo Guzman, who was imprisoned several decades ago for the same crimes with which Ovidio is accused, managed to escape from that hole with 2-by-2-meter walls where they had put him. He managed to escape in the year 2001 with the help of family members and trusted people through a tunnel that went from this prison to the outside. Currently, Ovidio Guzman has been locked up in the same prison as his father, with the difference that now he is much more guarded. He has cameras that record 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even in the bathroom, to have total control over him and thus avoid what happened with his father. A relevant example in this situation is that of Vicente Zambara Niebla, also known as El Vicentillo, who faced a similar dilemma and chose to collaborate with the DEA, which led him to become a witness against Chapo Guzman. This decision, although it brought personal benefits, generated a break in the family relationship and a moral distance that can hardly be resolved. The main reason behind the pressure from the U.S. authorities on Ovidio lies in his connection with the faction of the Sinaloa cartel led by his brothers. This faction is primarily responsible for trafficking fentanyl, a substance whose consumption has caused an alarming increase in death rates in the United States. This public health problem has made Ovidio's brothers a priority target for the authorities, which further increases the pressure on him. The situation is even more complicated if we consider the unpublished video of the Culiacanazo. In this video, Ovidio is shown surrendering to the authorities to avoid a confrontation that endangered the lives of his daughters, an act that reflects his concern for his family. This show of affection and family protection could influence his final decision, since sacrificing his relationship with his siblings in exchange for benefits that allow him to obtain a quick release and a witness protection program with his daughters could be a tempting option. In this context, it is also important to remember that Chapo's former partner, who was facing serious accusations, chose to collaborate with the authorities and obtain his release in exchange for giving up her old life and undergoing a witness protection program. This decision, although difficult, allowed him to obtain his freedom in a relatively short period of time, adding an additional element of pressure to Ovid's situation. The story of Ovidio Guzman Lopez is deeply rooted in the infamous Guzman family, whose name has resonated in the world of drug trafficking for decades. His father, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, is considered one of the most powerful bosses in history, and this legacy significantly influences the difficult crossroads in which Ovidio finds himself. The weight of expectations and family legacy add to the pressure he faces, as any decision he makes will not only affect his own life, but will have repercussions on his family's reputation in the world of drug trafficking. In addition to pressure from U.S. authorities, Ovidio also faces a harsh reality in U.S. maximum security prisons. Conditions of extreme isolation and lack of privacy can have a devastating impact on a prisoner's mental and emotional health. The prospect of spending the rest of his life in a limited space, with no meaningful contact with the outside world and constant surveillance, adds an additional dimension of anguish to his decision. Ovid's decision is a dilemma that transcends the legal and ethical. It is a question of survival, family loyalty, and the search for a second chance in life. Ultimately, his choice will be a testament to the complexity of the human condition when faced with extreme situations and the intersections between family, ethics, and legality. In summary, the situation of Ovidio Guzman Lopez is extremely complex and raises ethical, moral, and legal dilemmas that require deep reflection. The choice you make will have a significant impact on your life and your relationships with your family. There are no simple answers in such an extreme situation, and the available options are fraught with challenges and consequences. The final decision rests with Ovid, and, as in any moral dilemma, only he can determine which option he considers most appropriate given the circumstances. And now, what do you think? Will Ovidio Guzman Lopez, son of the renowned Chapo Guzman, betray his brothers to avoid a few years in prison? Will he endure police pressure in order for his family to be well? All this and more will be seen in the next episodes of our channel, so stay tuned to discover the whole truth. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a comment with your opinion. See you in the next video. Until next time, narco story lovers.